Hello, everybody. I was supposed to say, what is that? Who's singing? And I realized that's the it's the loaf. That's the sound I have in the background. I don't even know if it's classified. If I could even classify this as lo-fi anymore. I don't ever look up lo-fi. Hey, how's it going, everyone? I immediately jump into just rambling. Oh man, it has been so long since I've been here in the dungeon proper. It is absolutely crazy. My lighting's all off tonight. No, I don't want that to be brighter. I want that to be more dim. Oh, you know why? It's because... No, actually, that doesn't need to be slightly brighter. And then we will... Hey, there we go. I don't look nearly as bad now. Whew. Maybe it's time to find some new music. I don't know, let's find some non-copywritten, whatchamacallit, non-copywritten lo-fi music. Can I put this up there? Here we go. What is this? What is Evan doing?
To all adjacent... Just adjacencies.
What are you doing, Evan?
Yeah. How easy is it to convert items from Arcana of the Ancients?
I was gonna say, hey Evan, I'm streaming, you streaming.
Tony, if you want to... Hey, Kelf. Tony, if you want to send me a link or something to one of them, like a screenshot of one, send me an example of one. If you want me to take a look, I'd be happy to comment on it. Where's Breezy? Yeah, it is in the Zoom guide. It's designed to be quite easy. All the input-output numbers are the same, so any numbers are identical. There's some things change for flavor and just like personal balance and taste and stuff. I'm streaming, you streaming? Hey, all right.
All right. This is not the content you came here for. What was I looking for? Yeah. Non-copyrighted tavern lo-fi music. Oh, yeah, fucking medieval lo-fi. I don't even know what... See, they don't have it on... they don't have it live. Here we go, live. This is literally what we're listening to right now. I know for a fact it's not copywritten. Chill Hop is another big one. I don't know about their copyrights. This is actually one that I listened to on my own, the Lord of the Rings one. I just don't like the ones, what's up, Glenn? Share your links to us. Yeah, right. I just don't like the ones that are like already done. Just because... Wait, is this one... Does this one have copyright? This is what we used to listen to. It's a share-alike. Okay. That's fine. We'll do this. We're gonna close that. Post that in there. Why is that playing? This is what I used to have. So there we go. There's our lo-fi D&D for the night. For what it is worth. One moment. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to address something on here. But tonight, we are going to be talking a little bit about some pocket D&D stuff. Now, you might be questioning, what exactly do I mean by pocket D&D? Well, it's pretty simple once you really think about it. What is this? I kept seeing this last night. Is this the one that was based on Studio Ghibli? I kept seeing spells in my... I know for a fact... Oh, yes, this was! This was a Kickstarter! The Obajima stuff, yes. This was a Kickstarter. Volume's too loud? Okay. This was a Kickstarter a while back that I did not back. But it was like Studio Ghibli stuff. I see a bunch of spells. So somebody that I play in a game with must have it. My the Barrenlands campaign over in the GM Philosopher. The guy who runs the campaign over there must have this, because I kept seeing spells from it last night. Interesting. Belly Brewer Barbarian, the Waxwork Rogue. Interesting. Yeah, it's definitely probably not something I'm gonna get into. God knows I need to chill out on spending money on shit that I don't use. This would be one of them. Yeah, this is super Studio Ghibli. I don't know if they could actually say that, though. It is nice to see them throwing it up in maps, though. I mean, all things considering, it's nice seeing them do anything with maps, considering maps is still in beta, and the Sigil VTT is DOA. For those of you that don't know, because it has been talked about on other platforms, if you remember a couple weeks ago, I downloaded this, we checked it out one day. It wasn't a bad virtual tabletop. It's very similar to another 3D VTT called Tailspire, which is, it's $25. It's a one-time purchase. It has a bunch of 3D assets that you can make, these 3D battle maps. You can import Hero Forge minis into it. It's been a lot. It's been on it's been in the D&D ecosystem for quite some time, and it is essentially what Sigil was trying to be. Okay, if you don't know, let me pull this up for you just to show you here. Here we go. We got Steam. We'll full size this. So this is Tailspire. And as you can see, it's very similar to what we played a couple weeks ago when we were messing around with Sigil. You have 3D minis, you have a 3D environment, you have dice on the battlefield, you have spell effects, you can manipulate the minis, but this one you can just import Hero Forge minis directly into it, unlike what the D&D Project Sigil was going to be, where it was just going to be a microtransaction haven where you're going to have to buy everything. Now, one of the reasons why I personally didn't like Tailspire and never invested in it is that in order to utilize this, you had to pay for it, and then all of the people you wanted to play with had to pay for it, and then you would have to all have computers powerful enough to run this. And that was the whole thing that Sigil was supposed to, you know, alleviate. Literally, they said in a video one day that it was going to be so easy to run that some players could run it on their phones. And the reality is that that was just bullshit. And I understand that they, you know, the developers of it, and that the, you know, the people at Wizards might have had that idea. That might have been their goal in it. But at the end of the day, they were not going to be able to accomplish that. I guess they have future stuff, so you can do like Shadowrun and, you know, whatever that one, Shadowrun and, whatever the Cyberpunk one is. I can't think of it. But it's what it was supposed to be, and there are so many claims of people with high-end computers not being able to run Sigil and using the preloaded maps that it had. Spelljammer. You could do Spelljammer with this one pretty well. And that's because the game is so resource heavy, and to even consider having everyone wanting to do that, plus, again, Sigil, one of the downsides with Tailspire is that everyone has to buy it. With Sigil, everyone would have to have the Master tier or the Hero tier. You'd have to subscribe to D&D Beyond to use it. So, you know, are you going to do the monthly subscription to get access to this and be locked into that system? Or are you going to use this, you know, which is a one-time buy-in? Now, I will argue Tailspire does not have the same level of integration into it with something like D&D Beyond that Sigil obviously had. And I'm sure that if we go into their community hub, there is probably, let's take a look. Oh, wow, there's actually not. I was going to say there might be a, I was anticipating there being a whole, like, community side of things where you could download stuff. But it doesn't seem... Oh, I guess you can go to Tails... I guess people actually just make stuff for it that you could download. That's cool. Okay, well, at least that's an option. Because, yeah, otherwise there would be the community page up there. But, again, the downside... Oh, yeah, workshop. That's the word I was thinking of. You do it within... Okay. But, yeah, like I said, it doesn't have the same integration as Sigil does, which was one of the big, like, selling points of Sigil, is that everything was going to be able to go in. But, from what everyone is saying... there is just all kinds of fuckery with it. If you don't make your character, like, brand new using 2024 rules, apparently a lot of stuff doesn't transfer over to Sigil when you import them, like, mechanics don't work. Apparently there's also no way to do unarmed strikes, so if you're playing a monk, you literally cannot attack. And this is all hearsay. This is all just what I've heard. I guess since you don't have, like, all the options for the races, you're kind of stuck using, like, the 6 that they had, which was, like, human, elf, dwarf, half-orc. I forget, like, what all they were. So, like, obviously, any of the monster races, you're not going to be able to make a token that looks even suitable. Yeah, I don't know. The only... I think there was also, like, no way of representing, like, flying creatures. There was no way to, like, put creatures into the sky. And I know whenever I was building the one map, like the little campsite map, I had trouble with verticality. Like, you have to plan from, like, the ground up. And I literally mean, like, underground. Like, you have to go from the bottom level up to kind of handle everything. because you can't go down. But that's always going to be the big caveat with working with a 3D VTT, is that there's a lot more time and effort that needs to be put into it. If there was no way this was just going to be, you know, download it, have your friends download it, and jump into a game in a couple of minutes. Like, it was never going to be what they, you know, what they claimed it was. You know, just, it was infeasible for that. But now 90% of the crew was, you know, fired. Now they have, like, I think 3 or 4 people are the only people working on it. Like, the project leads are it, and they are going to be the ones, like, having to, you know, sloth out whatever they can with this. Yeah, that sucks for them. I feel for them. So, but yeah, we're got some other things to talk about tonight. Join Chaos over on D&D for Kids. Oh boy, kids love cheating. Gotta teach them to follow the fucking rules. Curious to read more of that. But yeah, so tonight we have kind of a bit of a targeted topic that I would like to discuss. This is something that we have not only, this is something that we have partially not only discussed here on here on D&D&Chill, but have explored it to what I would say quite a degree. And that is the idea of pocket dungeons and pocket D&D in general. This is not necessarily a concept that's too foreign from, you know, just keeping a set of dice in your pocket. Like, you know, it's not that simple that, you know, that we're going to be discussing. But a while back we discussed a product that I picked up at a local friendly game store that was called the Paper App Dungeon. And what that was a small notebook that you could download. Or sorry, not a notebook that you can download. Jeez. It was a small notebook that you could purchase, and the what it did was, I'll pull it up on here. Where we at? Click. Oh, go back. Here we go. So what it did, and this is just going to be, you know, the easiest representation that I can show you, but it's a small little notebook. Here it is, you know, what I got in my hand. And inside of it is a series of dungeons. And you can see on the bottom, we have a couple things. And I have one of the floors represented here as you're viewing it through my iPad, because as you may remember, there was a time when I was actually doing these on stream. And the idea was that I was, you know, you roll dice, and depending on which way the dice lands, determine which direction your character can go. If it's a 1, 3, or a 5, if it's an odd number, you can go in diagonal directions. And if it is an even number, you get to go the cardinal directions, up, down, left, and right. If you hit a wall, You can choose to bounce off in a different direction. And the whole idea is to get your character from the happy smiling face right here to the staircase that leads you to the next floor. And all the while, you are trying to contend with monsters that that deal you a certain amount of damage. You have to collect coins that you can use to buy items later. There are also chests that I forget what they give you. Oh, that's right. They give you gold. You roll a d6 and they give you gold based on that. And then there are also health potions that you can find. This one lets you roll a d6 and see what you get. This one just gives you 3 hit points back. And as you can see, we actually left off on this stage. And, you know, the way that it works is that you roll a d6. I'm going to roll one off to the side. I actually have a little d6 container here that I got at the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo with the, I think it's Green Dragon Fest. I think it has something to do with Baron DeRupp of Dungeon Masterpiece. So we got a 3, okay? So that means that we can either go 1, 2, 3, or we could go 1, 2, 3. So I want to avoid these. I want to avoid these monsters at all costs. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Then I get to roll again. We got another 3. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then I just rolled a 1. So we can go up this way. Roll again. I got a 4, so I don't necessarily want to go this way because then I'd be going into a monster. I don't want to go this way because we're going into a monster. I could go back and come down to there, or I could go over to there. So we'll go over to there. Roll again. I got a 6. They have a countdown at the time. Like, yeah, less than 200 days yet. So we got a 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roll again. I got another 6. So right now I'm kind of stuck with the reality that I have to go and fight a monster. Now, I have 4 hit points, and in every direction that I'm going, I would basically be getting screwed over, but I can go backwards. Okay, I can't go backwards. You're not supposed to go back the direction that you came from. So I'm gonna have to take my chances and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and see how much damage I took. Okay, so I'm only taking 1 damage. So right now that's, oh yeah, no, that's right. In here we gotta do -1. So I got a 4. So I'm actually gonna go up. Actually, no. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over 1 and then up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get 3 hit points back at least. So that's not too bad. And then we got a 1. So we're gonna go diagonal. We got a coin. That's nice. And we got a 2. So we're gonna go 1, 2. We got 5. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shit, that's not a fun one. But that's really the only direction we could go. Well, actually, we could go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. We just picked up 6 gold. Holy shit. Okay. So now we got a 5. So we can go. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, don't like that. Can't go back the way we came. So we are kind of stuck right now. You know what? Sadly, going this direction is No, that wouldn't work. 1. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no, that's right. I can't go that way. 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna take 3 damage here. And what else we got? Got a 2, so we're gonna go up 2. We got a 1, so we can go up to here. That's a 6. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got a 1, so that can put us up to that little intersection. We got a 6 again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we got a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a 2. 1, 2. And oh, we got a 6. So that's going to take us 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And we escaped. We also got an extra coin in there. So we are going to go to the next level. So we lost 1 hit point in all of this. And we went up to 15 gold. So there we go. Okay. Just a simple, quick, showing of how this works out and how you're supposed to do this game. Okay. And the cool thing about this is only a couple bucks. You can pick this up at a lot of local game stores. But you can also pick this up straight on Gladden's website. So Gladden Design actually makes these. They actually have Lucky Duck Gaming also handling some of the production of like this version, which it looks more like, it has like an image of a knight with a pencil and stuff. But this is from a line of products that Gladden produces called the Paper Apps products. And in fact, they have a couple of them on their website. So you can do Galaxy and you can also do Golf, which kind of work in the same respect. It's kind of like those old space games. And then there's also a golf one that works in a very similar fashion. Obviously, we have done the dungeon one. There is actually there's a single, you don't get a random seed. Normally, every single one of these has a different seed, which means all the maps are always going to be different no matter which book you get. There is actually one you can get $5 that is a PDF version that you can either print yourself or do online. So it kind of allows everyone to play the same one. I haven't done that. At least I don't think I ever bought that. But they also sell on here their own little notebooks. They sell some, I think this is like a soccer thing. Yeah, it's like a little soccer thing. And then they have, they have pencils. They have a heads and tails pencil, like a carpenter pencil. Random dice that have pips in random locations, which I actually think is really charming. And then I don't know what Mages is. I actually saw this the other day, and I was very curious about it, but I didn't look into it. That's an odd set of dice. 2d10s, 2d8s, 2d6, and 2d4s. Huh. Yeah. Melgorn the Master Mage calls upon all willing and able apprentices in the land of Pavel to compete in the Mages Grand Tournament. Play as one of 16 characters, each with unique advantage. Use 4 types of spells to prove your superiority. 30 items to increase your chance of victory. Resources to buy spells and increase your skill levels. Interesting. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on this and actually taking a look at it. It's only $10 too. It's on sale. Maybe I will. I'd like to actually get one of their official books. Also, the little pack that I got for my notebook, it comes with a pencil that has numbers at the end of it, so it acts as a D6. This one at least has an eraser. The one that they sell does not have an eraser, so use it at your own peril. Oh yeah, and then they have their little to-do list, and I think they have like a nutritional guidance one, NutriTrack, yeah. But anyway, Gladden has a lot of really cool products, some really fun, stuff for Dungeon Masters, a little grid sheet if you want to do pixel art, or if you want to doodle out a dungeon, you could do that with that. Like a little stack of sticky notes. So that's cool. I like Gladden products. I think they're really cool. And I was, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this stuff tonight is because I've recently been digging into a lot of handheld gaming stuff. Not too long ago, I was trying to figure out a way to be able to play my PC games downstairs in my living room. So the setup of the bottom, like the main floor of my house, is that there's two living rooms essentially. There's one where we have the main couch, my mom has her recliner, it's where Kiva's playpen is, and we have a TV in there. And usually that's where my mom and Kaylee are watching something, or they have Kiva's show on. But we have another living room essentially that is connected to that with a big archway, where there is another couch in there and another big screen TV. And the idea when we first moved in was that that was going to be like our living room. So my mom could watch stuff on her side of the house. We could watch stuff on ours. That TV didn't get a lot of use for a while. But recently with Kiva, being around and me wanting to be more present downstairs, but still wanting to relax and wind down with the video games that I, like to play, I wanted to figure out a way that I could play games down there. And one of the solutions that almost worked was I have a wireless adapter that I got for my PC, because, I built my PC, and I was going to use that to essentially wirelessly connect to the smart TV that's down in that other living room. And it worked, but it wasn't great. There was the screen, the resolution of the screen didn't really work too well. There was like a bad flicker to it that it would like every like so many seconds, it would like kind of you would actually notice a big refresh on it. The other pain in the butt thing was that my Bluetooth, or my controller would not connect to the computer up here when I was downstairs via Bluetooth, which I don't try and use, but I have a 2.4 gigahertz adapter. I have a dongle for it, and I tried using that, and there was enough lag and latency in the controller that made it a struggle to connect. So it wasn't really working for me. I kind of gave up on it for a little while. And then recently I had this idea of connecting my iPad to the TV via AirPlay. And that, because I can use Steam Link, which lets me stream my Steam games to a device. And I can stream it to my iPad, which actually works really well. And there's no delay, there's no lag, and my internet's good enough that there's no lag. So I was actually having a really good time with it. And the problem though was that when I tried connecting it to the TV downstairs, it really did not work out. Like there was like about a half-second delay that was so noticeable that it made it hard to play. So I decided to forego doing that, and the other day I had my nephew help me dig out a cable that I bought years ago that can allow me to hook up an iPad to a TV directly. I figured that would cut down on the latency, and in fact, it made it worse. It was like a full second of lag and delay. So I was getting a little disheartened about it, but I looked into a program that I had heard of when I was looking into this, because during all of this, I started looking into like Steam Decks and ROG Allies and like Legion Go's, these handheld gaming consoles, and also just possibly looking into getting a brand new gaming laptop to resolve this. I mean, I kind of wanted a new laptop anyway because the one that I have isn't great, and I would want to get a new one to run my D&D games. But that's like $600. I don't have that money, especially after my dog recently got hurt, and I'm having to spend hundreds of dollars taking care of him. I just had to drop $1,200 on a vet visit on Monday, so I don't really have the money to be blowing on that. And in my whole process, I eventually found these programs, one called Sunshine and one called Moonlight. And essentially the way that it works is you download Sunshine onto the computer that you want to display everything, or that you want to stream from, and you download the Moonlight app on whatever device you want to receive that. So I set up Sunlight on my computer, or Sunshine on my computer, and then I downloaded Moonlight from the Microsoft Store on my Xbox, which is connected to that TV downstairs. And now I'm able to play video games downstairs from my PC. In fact, I'm able to just access my desktop, which is really nice. So I can now go downstairs, be present in the living room, playing, Descenders, or playing Odinfall, 33 Immortals, whatever I want to be playing at that time, and be down there. And, the computer's just running up here, handling everything, and I'm just getting a screen. This is really nice. But, again, this kind of put me into the mindset of, like, handhelds and, portable gaming and stuff like that. And, through that, funny enough, I actually bought I bought a controller that I can hook my phone up to and use that to play games on my phone. I actually have another one coming in tomorrow that's Bluetooth that I can hook up to like my iPad and use it as a big handheld gaming rig. I just recently found my old Nintendo 3DS XL, and probably tomorrow or Friday, I'm going to go through the process of modding it to be able to get a bunch of, like ROMs on it and stuff and play games on that. I'm doing a lot with like handheld gaming stuff, and that then coincided with D&D stuff in what I got recently. So one of the things that I picked up recently, didn't mean to do that. What's going on? I want to pull that up. Here we go. So here it is. Oh, it was discontinued? Of course it was. This works. Is this the same thing? Yes, it's the same thing. So, something that I picked up recently, I actually got it off of Temu, and I'm sure everybody out there at this point in the world knows what Temu is. But I picked this up. And it's a little thing that, says Pocket Dungeons. It comes with some dice, a pencil, and a pack of cards. Now, looking at all the pictures and knowing what I personally received with this, these are all the same. So, I want to tell you right here and now, if you end up liking this idea and you want to go out and pick one up for yourself, as far as I am aware, all of these have the same stuff inside. It's the same maps, it's the same characters, it's everything, okay? So, what this is it's a small tin. It's like an Altoids container. You can see how big it is right here. And inside, you are going to get, as it shows here on the screen, 2 D6. You're going to get a little sharpened pencil. And then you are going to get a slew of cards. Okay? And everything that you need to play this pocket dungeon is actually here. So the way that this works is the very first card that is on here is the Game Master's Guide. Now, I don't have these pictures to show you on here, and I don't have my other camera set up, so I do apologize for that, but this essentially just has a picture of like a landscape, and then on the back, I know it's a little hard to read there, but what it says is Game Master's Guide, DC. If a player faces an easy challenge, they should automatically succeed. Otherwise, challenges have a DC of 4, and a very hard challenge is a DC of 6. Armor class. Unarmored characters have an armor class of 3. Light armor is 4. Medium armor is 5. And heavy armor is 6. Health points depend on race or size. The tiniest creatures have 1 hit point. Humans usually have 3. And the biggest and hardiest creatures can have 8 or more. And then we have initiative. You roll a d6. You see who gets the highest between the players and the monsters. And there you go. And then Dicey Oracle. In cases of uncertainty in the game world, roll a d6. Even numbers signify yes. Odd numbers signify no. So we have a brief description of how to handle really any kind of dispute, whether you need to do a skill check, you're attacking a creature, you're dealing with hit points, worrying about initiative, or just kind of trying to figure out, fate. Okay. Up next, we have a handful of character cards, and you can see those wherever my thing is right here. So obviously I have all these same characters. I have Brother Lactarius, I have Mazdamir, I have Renetha, Gamoli, and then we have past him, we have Bunzo and Gudvin, okay? And then we also have one that is blank that you can fill out yourself. So, as you can see, each one of these has a little bit of a different setup with skills. This is not standard D&D. Obviously, Brother Lectarius there is a cleric, and then right behind him we have Mazdamir, the half-elf Death Knight. So Brother Lecarius has a +1 to strength, a +1 to dexterity, and a +2 to mental stats. He has a 5 AC, 3 hit points maximum, and a mace that is based on strength. And his ability is that he can heal wounds. I know you guys can't see it on the screen there, but his ability is heal wounds once per turn, roll for mind, DC 2, so you have to roll the D6, get higher than a 2. And if you succeed, you restore 1 hit point to the target creature. This cannot increase the maximum hit points at all. Mazdamir has a strength of 2, dex of 1, mind of 1, has also a 5 armor class, also has 3 hit points, has a bastard sword, and can raise dead once a day. And then I'm not going to go into all these, but Renetha, the elven wizard, has a mind of 2, only a 3 armor class because she's only wearing a robe, but she has a fireball spell that allows her to hit a creature by making a mind attack that deals 1 damage. I think all the things just do 1 damage, so, you know, it's easy to figure out. So we have right there 6 characters, so you could arguably have 6 players at your table, or you can have fewer than that and they can, you know, choose what they want to do. And then what we have is 6 cards of various scale. And the thing is, if you look at this picture right here, that setting on that card may look a little familiar to you, okay? And this image may look a little familiar to you. And it may look familiar to you because if you've spent any time in the D&D community, you have probably seen Wadabal's Proc Gen Arcana, okay? So, right here, we can see, we can kind of see all 3 of them. This is not letting me zoom in anymore. Hold on. Yeah. So you can see right here that this card is very clearly just the realm generator that you can click, and we'll right click and we'll do a new region. Let's not get an island. There we go. This is literally all it is. Okay? This card is just that somebody went onto here, took a small sample of one of these maps, and made it onto this card. Okay? Now, on the back of this, they have the locations for the places on here. So, obviously, this is going to be different because this is procedural generation. It's always going to be different. You can save the permalinks, but on the one that is on here, we have Dawn Moon Woods, a sprawling forest teeming with life and ancient magic, home to elves, wolves, that have an armor class of 2 HP or armor class of 3 HP of 2, treants, armor class of 3 HP of 6, who fiercely protect the woods. And that's it. That's all the information you get about the woods that make up most of this map. There's also Merc Ridge, Darkcott, Froston, High Farm, Pale Court, Dragon Ridge, the Archive of Far, and the Dungeon of Wisdom. So we have some basic locations, and we have some general locales. Next up, we have a city card. And again, if you look at this and you have ever used the Proc Gen Arcana, you will recognize this as the very first thing that Wadabal ever made, which was a city generator. The only difference is they changed the style from this one to the modern one. This is all it is. It is literally the same thing. And on the back, like with the region card, it gives you some locations. We have the Black Diamond Tavern, the Hall of Illumination, the Gold Vineyard, the Castle Dungeons, and the South Quarter Market. So we have a city. What do we have next as featured in this? We have the village of High Farm. Again, another Proc Gen Arcana product, the Village Generator. If you want to generate a village, there you go. So we have the village of High Farm, which is going to have on the back some general buildings as well as some NPCs that are on here. So we have the market, the Elders Hall, Mara's Fields, the Apothecary, and then we have 3 NPCs. Isla the Centaur Merchant, Finn the Satyr Bard, and Grizzle the Goblin Trader. And last but not least, we have 3 dungeons. And you're never gonna guess what they use. That's right. One of these uses the cave generator to create a natural cave dungeon. The other ones use the dungeon generator to make dungeons. The one actually is a different thing. Like, this one is very clearly this program. This one is actually more detailed, and I don't know exactly what program they use to make this. I will give them that much credit. But I'm not gonna lie. The fact that all of this is... The fact that half of this is just Proc Gen Arcana that has been added to cards. The fact that they have simplified, like, any kind of combat DC system to just use D6s. And the fact that they have 6 different characters, it's actually phenomenal with what you're getting for under $10. Okay? You don't need, if you just want a simple setting, a handful of NPCs, 2 major settlements, you have a city and you have a town, and a handful of dungeons, okay, to just try D&D, or just to try, I mean, it's not even necessarily D&D, but just to try this stuff, this is actually more impressive than I thought it was going to be when I ordered it. Now, I will admit, the only thing that I am slightly disgruntled about with it is the fact that they're all the same. No matter how many of these I would buy, I would get the same region map, I would get the same dungeon map, I would get all the same stuff. Okay, actually, wait, I take that back. This one's different. Nope, no, it's not the same. I just looked at the map wrong. Nope, there's the Dark Moon Woods. There's Brother Licarius. They have translucent dice instead. Damn it. I thought this one was going to be different, and it's not. Oh, that's funny. I legit thought this was going to be different. Yep. But no, it's not. You just can't see the words, and it's upside down. So that's going to... I will say, that is the only thing that I kind of wish that was a little bit different with this, is that they would have different ones. Because I think you could actually do really well with something like this. Come up with, like, five regions. This is a great forest one. This is actually perfect for a forest. But have one that's like, an Arctic setting. Have one that's like, a desert setting. Have one that's like an oceanic setting, like a coastal setting, with some islands maybe. And then you can even do one for like mountains and stuff. I think you could do really cool with that. Have each one with like a city and a village, and then have 3 dungeons in each, and then come up with different characters, come up with, 6 characters for each one. And I guarantee you, 90% of this was done with AI. Like, I guarantee you could copy and paste most of this into an AI generator, into ChatGPT, and it could pump out another 30 characters. It could pump out some information on different locations. And then you sell each one of them for just $10, or like $7 right here. You can get this for $7 on Temu. And even if you don't want to do all that, like, just doing what they did is not difficult in any way, shape, or form. And funny enough, I actually find it interesting that they perfectly showed off on here exactly what you can do just using Proc Gen Arcana. Because if you're unfamiliar with Wadabow and what all you can do with it, okay, if you ever want to run your own D&D session or campaign, and you don't know how to world build, you don't know what all you need to do with it, or, you know, you're just about to sit down with a group of friends that are going to try role-playing for the first time, and you just need something quick, you can click Realm. Get something like this, okay? So this is the region of the Lake of Night. So this is the Lake of Night right here. We have a couple different locations in here. We have Redwood. We have Black Moon Field. We have Starfield, the Eastern Reach, Evershield, and Westpool. And then we have some danger locations. We have the City of the Black God, the Cursed Tower, and the Library of Illusions just to the south of Stormwind Mountain. Okay? And you can right-click this. Oh, there we go. You can right-click this, and you can actually export this as a PNG. You can print it up. You can add it to whatever VTT you want. You can even go in and change all the settings if you want. You know, if you don't want that big compass in the middle, you can get rid of that. If you want there to be clouds around the edges to kind of show that, like, you know, the world is mysterious upon there, you can do that. You can change how the light is displayed on the map. You can change the vantage point if you want it like top down or at an angle. You can even put a grid on the map if you want to have a hex grid. I know it's really hard to see on here and I can't really zoom in well on this thing. But you can put a hex grid to know what distances are. You just have to kind of figure out what distances you would want. Like right there, you know, we now have hex numbers on this. I know they're very hard to see. I'm going to get rid of those. You can also have sea routes, roads, dangers, meadows, individual trees. You know, you can change the forests and stuff. So you can edit the map however you want. But what is awesome about the realm generator is if you click these cities, you get a tiny little description. Black Moon Field, a riverside city of abundant religion and scarce privacy. If you want more information on this, you can right-click it. You can edit the name. And I will say, I'm not a huge fan of it being called Black Moon Field. So you know what? We're just going to name it Black Moon. And you can see that it connects to Starfield and Redwood. Those are the roads that it connects to. So we're going to apply that. And now when we right-click it, we're going to go to Open in MFCG. MFCG stands for Medieval Fantasy City Generator. And guess what? Here it is. Here's Black Moon. We have the Ash Stair region. We have the Greenfall Gate, the Eastern Black Moon Settlement, the Ashen Hook, and the Wool Forge. What do any of those mean? What goes on there? That's up to you. But you can mess with these. You can right-click them. You can warp this stuff. You can change it. You know, if you want to add a landmark somewhere, maybe you want to put a tavern in, okay? So, where we have the East Black Moon, okay? And we have the Greenfall Gate. So maybe right here, right at the entrance, you know, we have a tavern for people that are coming up this road right here. All right, we'll put it right here. And we'll call this We'll call this the, we'll just call this the Eastern Inn. All right, so there we go. We got the Eastern Inn. Perfect. And maybe in here we'll have the Ash Market. Okay, so this is a giant settlement. This is like a giant stall where all kinds of stuff is sold. So there we go. Okay, we have a region. We have a main city of Black Moon. We have the map for Black Moon and at least 2 locations. Maybe we throw in, you know, a Iron Forge Arms for a local blacksmith, and there we go. We have a tavern, we have a general store, and we have a blacksmith. You don't really need much more than that. And you can do this with any settlement on here. So we can open up Redwood and see what's in here. We can open up Westpool and see that this is actually just a village right along the coast of the Lake of Night. So, you know, and we can do the same thing. We can mark certain buildings. So maybe this bigger building is a tavern. We just put a 1 next to it. Maybe this is a fishing stall. And here's the general store for the area. Actually, let's not make that the general store. Let's make this the general store. We have an armor right here. And over here, we'll actually make this one we'll make this one like the town speaker, you know, office. And that's all we need to do. We now have a couple locations. You know, we have the inn, we have the merchant, we have a fishing place, because obviously they're going to be doing a lot of fishing and boating. And there we are. We have a couple major locations, we have a village, and to top it all off, on here, we have 3 danger locations. We have the Cursed Tower, the City of the Black God, and the Library of Illusions. So if you were running your players in this, and by the way, I'm going to link this out for everyone. If your players were, you know, if you're one to put your players into this world, and they, you know, you present them with this map. They go, here you're all from the region of the Lake of Night, and you're currently in the City of Black Moon, and there's a festival going on in the area, and there's, you know, a lot of fanfare going on. And recently you heard somebody talking about a bit of chaos going up north near the city of Redwood, in this place, this cursed tower that's out in the fields in the dark quagmire. Cool. Players want to go there. Awesome. You pull up this map, you right-click the cursed tower, and you open its 1-page dungeon. And here we are. We have 1 floor of the cursed tower. And you can spice this up all you want. So what do we have here? Where's the entrance? Probably here, if anything, because this is a flight of stairs. Actually, that's a flight of stairs going down. Here's the entrance. Sorry, here's the entrance. So what do we got? We got room 1, a great gate with a keyhole on the northern wall. So maybe this is the gate. We have number 2, an iron throne, sounds an alarm when sat on. This to me looks like some kind of see-through wall, so maybe like some iron bars or something like that. This here is obviously a secret wall. And look at that, inside of this secret hallway is a sarcophagus that holds some gold. We also have down here in room 5 an ornate spear, candles and chainmail tucked under some debris. And lastly, in room 5, we have a heart-shaped key on a pedestal table. So maybe this heart-shaped key opens up this gate over here in room 1. And this allows you over into here, but you might be asking yourself, what's over here? Well, maybe we add a note here, okay? Or yeah, we would add a note. So let's say that this is actually a flight of stairs that goes up to the tower itself. So we're gonna add a note here, and put stairs that lead up the tower to a lookout. And there it goes. It'll readjust everything for you. It'll kind of keep things in order as you need it. Let's also add a note in here. And we'll put something like tower guarded by guardian golem. Perfect. So now we have a sarcophagus with some gold in it. So we have some hidden treasure as the players look around. We have a golem in here. Maybe there's some goblins or something that you can throw in here. Maybe you as the DM can say that this, you know, that back in here is maybe some enemies that come out and attack once this key's picked up. Whatever you want to do, you can mess with it, okay? And with this, you can also just export this as a PNG. You can also export this with all the information in Markdown, and then you can just throw it into your virtual tabletop. I haven't really used a lot of this, but honestly, getting this product, this little dungeon, pocket dungeon, has made me want to utilize this more. I will be honest with you. And you can do this with any one of these. Okay. City of the Black God. There we go. Look at that. Oh yeah. I also forgot to say, it even says what it is. The Pyramid of Gesh is situated deep in the wasteland, protected by the harsh weather and dangerous local fauna. Currently overrun with crows, the Pyramid of Gesh is home to a rare species of plant. That in itself could explain a lot of what you could put in here. You could have, instead of a golem, you could have a plant monster, like a tree ant, or, you know, you could have animated shrubs and like violet funguses that are in there ready to attack. This one sounds very similar. City of the Black God, fortress situated in the swamps, protected by local fauna, harsh weather. Recently, it was squatted by a band of goblins. Rumor says that countless treasures of magical artifacts and ancient books can be found there. Perfect. So, this is an easy way to just get a quick dungeon. You don't have to put a lot of thought into it. You can edit a couple things here and there, throw some random monsters in it, and you're good to go. And it's all done with the click of a button. So the only other one that this didn't include was the newer dwelling one, which gives you like buildings and stuff, which I don't necessarily know if you would want to include something like that in this, but I just find it really funny that was something included in this that kind of got me into a bit of a rabbit hole looking back into this stuff. You know, I just had a lot of fun with it. One of the other nice things is that if you actually save this, trying to remember if there's actually a way to save it directly. I think you can just copy and paste this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it changes the names, but it keeps the setup. Yeah, and this is, yeah, so it keeps everything the same. It just changes names. I don't necessarily know if there would be a way to change that, to keep them. I guess you can just save the PNG. I'm curious. Hold on, let me look here. Realm Name natural structures, configured. Is there a way to save it directly? So shading mode, dynamic lighting. I don't believe so. Interesting. You can rotate. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Oh, yeah, you can scale that. Interesting. I didn't actually know that. I don't mess around with this too much, so I'm you know, just learning as I go. But yeah, so, you know, again, I'm obviously not, you know, married to that location. But yeah, so like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about that today because I thought this was a fun little product. Like I said, you can get this on Temu. Just look up Pocket Dungeons. It's on there. But I got this a little while ago, but what kind of went hand in hand a little bit with this recent look into handheld gaming, pocket gaming, if you will, was actually something that I kickstarted a while back. I think it ended in October of last year, and I just got them. And I know that I had talked about them once before, but these are, and I say these because I have multiple things here, but these are the Dark Tomb games by Cause Games and Andy Bergman. So I have the Kickstarter pulled up here. And when I first looked into this, you know, I watched this little intro video. And I was like waiting for something to happen. And it doesn't really have much. It's just a bunch of scenery. And I was like, what is this? So I started looking into it. And it looks like a card game of some kind with, you know, tiles that you flip over. So what this is this is a full-on multi-layer dungeon and RPG system, self-contained in this tin. Everything that you need to play this is in this container. Okay? There's, and I'm going to go through it more on the Kickstarter because it's kind of hard for me to show you, you know, what's in here, but because everything that's in here is going to be on here. But inside you have these turn cards. This just kind of helps you keep a bit of initiative going. So in the beginning, players move and can make an action. You can use a free action to reveal a tile. So as you can see in this image, if your character was on a tile or was on a space adjacent to an unflipped tile, you can actually use a free action to reveal that tile. And then there's a seismic event, something that's going to affect the entire dungeon. You roll a d20, and if you roll a 19 or a 20, it happens, and everyone takes 1 damage. Otherwise, you move on to the monsters, and the monsters either move or attack. But if you roll a d20 for their attack and you roll a 1 to a 5, they actually run away. They run 4 spaces away from the players. Up next, we have these 4 player cards. I will admit, only the newest one, which is the one that it's demonstrating on here, the Ice Chasers, has a sidekick. Okay, this is the only one that has a sidekick. So the other 2 that I have, The Crypts of Arlian and the Bloodthorn Island, they don't have that. Although Bloodthorn Island has a boat. It does have a boat. But you're going to get this player card that every character is going to have their name on it, their symbol. So you can see right here, like, Oish has this pickaxe, Anju has a sword, Shern has this wand of some kind, or this odd weapon, and Dahlia has what looks like a sickle. Then you have their armor class, their movement, and their hit points. These 3 cubes, this is used on this map to showcase where the players are. One of them is then used to show how many hit points you have, and the other one is used on these cards. These are action cards. These show what your characters are able to do, and you actually use that 3rd cube because you can only use one action. You can't use the same action multiple times in a row. So if Dahlia used her sickle slice this round, she would not be able to use that again. Every character has 4 different actions, so you're never like stuck trying to decide what you want to do, but some actions are a little better than others. Additionally, you have some monster cards as well as monster cubes. So these are used to designate where the monsters are on the map. As you can see, we have 2 monsters here. And then you also have a monster cube that shows how many hit points they have, similar to the players. The cool thing is that each of the monsters, it might be a little hard to tell on here, but there's white dots above certain numbers. That shows, depending on how many people you have playing this, is how many hit points the monsters have. So if, for example, you're fighting this assassin and you have 3 people playing, it has 8 hit points. But if you only have 1 person playing, it has 4. You are going to get a 20-sided die in each box, as well as a set of rules. Then you have the stage cards. These are going to show you how to set up the map, as well as the introduction to the map, and it's also going to have one that is once you complete the map. Then you have the map cards themselves. Each one of these is going to, you're actually supposed to mix them up and like twist them and everything, so it's always different no matter what you do. But you're going to have the ones that you are having flipped face down, and then this one right here, the one with the dot, is your starting point. That one you start face up. And then as you go and you reveal these, you also have item cubes that you put on there that show where items are, and then you also put the monsters on. And the general idea of each room is to kill the monsters and find all the items in order to move on. And then we have the items here as well. As you can see, there's an ice axe, a torch, and an icicle. And then these are the other 2 that I got. The Crypts of Arlian and Bloodthorn Island. This gives a feel of D&D style combat turned into a replayable board. It very much is. Like, the combat system is very D&D. It uses a D20. You have modifiers. The monsters also have modifiers. There are rules. You can actually go to darktomb.com if you want to pick up this. Unfortunately, the other 2 are sold out at the moment. But you can actually view the rules directly on their page. Let's make this a little normal here. And it actually explains in here how you do these rolls. So for example, you roll an 11, you have a +3 modifier, this equals 14. Their AC is 12, so it does 1 damage. Now the attack type and range, this is kind of cool. So you have some abilities that attack in a straight line. You have some that can turn corners, some that can go through walls, and some that can hit multiple targets, and some that can hit multiple targets and go through walls. So this is also really cool. It explains how monsters work. Here's the boat in Bloodthorn Island. It's a cute little boat you put your characters on. And then we have, you know, the different kinds of terrain that are featured on the maps. You know, depending on which section you're in, you know, like it says here, you know, basic movement, you know, walls, obstacles, water, stuff like that. It doesn't seem like it'd lead to any continuous adventure. No. This is like, okay, so here's the big thing. This exists somewhere between this and this. Okay, that you know, this tin. So each one of these accomplishes something different. Okay? So, for example, if you yourself want to have your own adventure in your own time as you're going out and about on your day, something like this, the Pocket App Dungeon, or the Paper App Dungeon, is something that you want to get. Keep a pencil on you, have this notebook, keep them in your back pocket, keep them in your purse. If you wanna have a little adventure, flip open to a page, go to the first dungeon and try and survive, okay? When you get to the next dungeon, if you survived, carry your stats over. If eventually you die, go to the next dungeon and start over again, okay? You can always start with 10 hit points, I think is what it was. Let me see here. Yeah, you always start with 10 hit points and 0 gold. So if you die, and you can just move on from there. So this is if you want to play by yourself. This is if you want to have something to do yourself. Up next, the Pocket Dungeon. This is going to be closer to letting you and your friends have a more similar D&D style campaign, continuous adventure, as you worded it. This is one of those things where if you don't want to put a lot of time and effort into coming up with your own stuff to start out with, this gives you a really good setting with a handful of locations, some basic info for each, handful of NPCs, but you can take this as far as you want, okay? Even if you just use what is in here, you can come up with your own maps, you can come up with your own characters, you can come up with your own NPCs, your own monsters, because this is a dumbed down version of D&D, okay? You have strength, dex, and mind. You only have 3 stats. You're only worrying about modifiers that maybe go up to like 1, 2, or 3. You know, everything's only dealing 1 point of damage. If anything, this is closer to like Nimble and Easy D6 than it is more D&D. It's not even using a D20 for like any of its stuff. It's just D6s. So it's closer to Easy D6 than anything else. This is a much more like theater of the mind. You keep this in your you keep this in your purse or your pocket because you know that you're going to, be hanging out with your buddies and maybe they want to do some D&D, something D&D like, okay? And you can take this as far as you want. There is enough in here to get you started on a bunch of different adventures and to keep this going. Dark Tomb, on the other hand, is something that you are going to get together with your friends and you're going to sit down and you're going to play through one of these. I mean, each one of these says on the back that it takes about 15 to 40 minutes to complete, okay? So this is a self-contained full adventure with its own rules, its own mechanics, and you are going to play through and beat this in a sitting. This is less of a long-form continuous adventure that this is, and is more like a board or card game that is meant to be played in one sitting. Now, arguably, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, stating that you can't take the same character from the Crypts of Arleon into Bloodthorn Island and then go to the Ice Chasers. You could do that if you wanted. Like, the 4 characters in the Crypts of Arleon is Draven, Odin, Helios, and Aldrich, okay? If you like these characters and, like, you play through this setting and you want to take these characters and they all survived into the next adventure of the, of Bloodthorn Island, and, you could do that, okay? And maybe let's say that, whoever's playing Odin, the cleric, dies. Well, maybe they want to play Forge, whatever this guy is. He looks like a Goliath almost, and then you can, once you finish that, then you can go into the Ice Chasers campaign, which actually doesn't have a page right now. It just takes you back to the Kickstarter. But there's nothing that says that you can't play those characters in a continuous manner, but it's not designed to do that. Each one of these is designed to be its own self-contained adventure, played by 1 to 5 people. I actually started playing this at work when I first got it and was opening it. Playing it by yourself is kind of disingenuous, I feel like. It almost does kind of need 2 people, because one of them is playing as a dungeon master, like one of them's playing, the monsters and stuff, but it definitely works. Like, you can make it work. So yeah, I really like this. I think this is a really cool setup. I think this is a really cool, fun game that you and your friends can play. Each one of them has a different play style. They, like right here, you got the Azure Tavern. It's only 3 spaces. Place the other tiles. You start with this one face up. Here's your, here's your comrades. We got some monsters and some items. It's a lot of fun. I'm very curious to play with the little Ermine and this ranger character, possibly. And I guess, yeah, this one, this mini stage, like, these ones do kind of have to go back to back. Couldn't have that rotated a different way. But, oh Jesus, I didn't even look at what all was unlocked. But I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about this. I know I didn't talk a lot about this when the Kickstarter was going on, because I didn't really know what I was getting into. But getting them, I realized just how cool of a product this is. And I will say that while I have not done a lot with it yet, I am aiming on... Oh, shoot. Oh, pressed some buttons. I am aiming on making this something on playingcards.io so that it could be played digitally. Being that these are, cards that I can recreate very easily, I can redesign the character cards so that, like, all the information's on, a single card, and, like, all the actions and stuff, nothing has to be that same size. I can figure out how to orient the maps onto a grid. And then there's little markers and tokens on playingcards.io. Ever since they recently updated, they have a lot of new features on there. I should be able to make it so that, like, you can have a room for each set and have, like, different dungeons in the one. So I'm gonna work on that. I have a couple days off coming up. I have some some time off that I'm spending relaxing with my dog, who's not feeling well right now. So we're gonna be playing on the computer a little bit and getting that stuff done. But yeah, so I kind of just wanted to talk about these three things. You know, I wasn't a whole lot that I was gonna go into crazy detail. I don't have anything to really show with Dark Tomb, but just wanted to talk a little bit about them. I think they're really cool. I think it's a cool product. If you have a chance to get your hands on them, you can head over to darktomb.com to pick up a copy. You can download the rules there, get the backstories for like some of the monsters and adventures and stuff, but you can pick up I think you can still do a late pledge on the Kickstarter for this, and then just you know, wait to get the next one. And hopefully they do more of these. I'm really hoping that they do more of them in the future. So shared a couple of, yeah, no, and that's kind of the thing, like these, none of these are directly like involved with D&D, but they're kind of D&D adjacent. You know, each one of these things is an RPG, is a D&D adjacent thing that you can just carry with you. You know, whether you're doing it by yourself with the paper app dungeon, whether you're wanting to do a TTRPG with the pocket dungeon, or whether you're just wanting to do a simple card game with your friends and the Dark Tomb series, I think they're a great option. I think they're something that if you have the opportunity to get your hands on them, definitely look into it. But I think that's going to be it for me tonight, folks. I have some pizza that's been sitting here cold, waiting for me to eat it for a little while. And I got to go downstairs, let the dogs out, and make sure that Bo is doing okay. And yeah, I will be hopefully getting that playingcards.io one set up. Make a couple rooms and share them out to the Discord, kelscorner.com. You can get to it from there. So, also, before I head off for the night, I just saw over on the GM Philosopher Discord channel that tomorrow morning, the GM Philosopher is going to be reviewing my monster that I submitted for the Underworld Creature Contest over on his channel, which was known as the Gemjaw Gullet. It's a giant earth elemental that kind of ambushes creatures. It looks like a giant cave with a, you know, gem-coated stalactite in the center of it. When you touch it, it kind of crushes you. It's basically an earth elemental anglerfish in a way. So, yeah, definitely check that out. If you are interested. Yeah, winning many contests. Yeah, no, it's kind of a killer. As somebody who is like as non-competitive as I am, I was actually dreading that contest because I saw that a lot of people had voted for mine whenever it was my, you know, when the round that I was in and I got like 61% of the votes. I was like, okay, that's cool, you know, I'm going to the finals. But then like I got 33% of the votes. Like I got 7 votes, you know, out of the handful of people that voted. And I was like, I didn't want to win again. It's just, I don't know. It's just how I am about that stuff. I don't know. I just like making homebrew, and having the contest is a fun way to structure the homebrew. You know, because if you just have too much freedom, you just, you know, go all over the place. But I actually talked with the GM Philosopher about that, because I had like one of the things that he was that he did was, if you won, you got a free book from him, which I don't know if he's doing that for the rest of the contest. I ended up asking if he can give them to the guy who made the Dire Poppies, which is a really cool one. I might have to do a video about that one, or a stream where I go over some of those monsters that were done, and also one that a guy named D. Coopark did, which was a monster called the Callous Molemaw. And so I said, hey, give those two guys free books. You know, I think they would appreciate them. Yeah, no, I really liked the I really liked the Dire Poppies. Yeah, here we go. I'm not gonna read all of this, but yeah. Soft pink glow emanates from the cavern floor. It stretches in the cavern 100 feet. Seems inviting after the terrors of the cavern. Before you crouch down to get closer, it's a flower. A pot of these could be used to light your bed chamber back on the surface. So you pluck one, stick it in your pack. On a whim, you lift it to your nose, and you smell deeply. So each one of these has an effect that does like a hallucinogenic effect. And I really enjoyed this idea of these glowing poppies that can cause you to hallucinate. So this is the one that I wanted to win. I was really, really pulling for John there. Unfortunately, that's why I didn't like that I won. But yeah, so we'll see what that looks like tomorrow on his video. That'll be going up early. But I gotta get to, like I said, I'm gonna eat my dinner and then head to bed. I got an appointment tomorrow for Bo in the morning. We're gonna hopefully get everything cleared up for him. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Really appreciate it. I gotta do more of these in the future. Just I don't have a lot of time anymore. My streams, my evenings are oftentimes just, you know, me being exhausted. So it is fun when I can do them, when I have the energy to do them, but exhaustion has taken its toll on me, and, you know, just trying to keep my mind about myself. And maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll do some more video game streaming if I can get my get some stuff set up here. So we'll see. I don't know. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.